My name is Mwesigwa Japheth. I'm a student at Kampala International University. Crime is basically a wrong against the state. In Uganda, if someone commits a crime, the whole concept is when you commit a crime, there is always punishment, and the punishment for that crime is always prescribed under the law. Mostly the youth are involved in committing crimes. Mostly we have the aspects of theft, we have murderers, yes, and today the intellectuals are involved in fraud. We basically have two major categories of crime. We have misdemeanors and felonies. With misdemeanors, those are crimes whose punishment is a year, yes, and the felonies, those are crimes whose punishment is more than 1 year. So it's from those categories that we have the minor offenses and the capital offenses. The capital offenses will automatically belong to that category of the felonies, and the minor offenses will go to the category of the misdemeanors. Now, according to the classifications, murder is a felony, and crimes like being a public nuisance, that one goes under misdemeanor. Even attempted suicide is also a misdemeanor under the penal code. There are very many reasons as to why people are punished. For example, there is a reason to deter other members in the public from committing offenses. There is a reason of preventing other members in the community from committing crimes. There is the aspect of retribution, that when I commit a crime against another person, the law, at least the country or the state, needs to nurse their feelings about what I have done. But the forms of punishment in Uganda mainly, the common one is always imprisonment, yes. We also had the aspect of death penalty as a form of punishment, but that one has always had issues with its contradiction with the provisions of the Constitution. To some extent, the penal code addresses modern day crime, and in instances where it has not addressed modern day crime, like misuse of the computer, online harassment, the Parliament has enacted laws that have addressed modern day crime. For example, they enacted the Computer Misuse Act. There has been an enactment of the Anti-Homosexuality Act. So the penal code does not entirely address modern day crime in its entirety, but there are other laws which have addressed modern day crime. Well, the concept of justice and punishment in criminal law, I would say that the two move hand in hand, because the whole point of criminal law is to protect the members of the society, and the best protection we can give them is when there is a result of somebody's conduct, yes? With criminal law, justice is always served if due process is observed, if the rights of an accused person have been respected, and then the punishment that is given to the person, if that is if they have been convicted, aligns well with the prescribed punishment for the offense that has been committed. So in our criminal justice system, punishment is one way of ensuring that justice has been served. But to achieve the object of justice in our criminal justice system, we must have followed the due process, yes? We must have had a fair and speedy trial, yes? We must have had the rights of the accused person observed very well. Some punishments are not proportionate to the crimes that have been committed. For example, when you look at someone making an attempt to commit suicide, if it is an offense, if we say that if someone attempts to take their life, then it is an offense, and we prescribe 1 year to punish that person, I think does not add up. It is not just. Because if someone is making an attempt to end their life, our focus should be more on how we help this person. We should be more on ascertaining why the person intended to take their life. It is with the judiciary that we get the judges. It is from the judiciary that we get the prosecutors. So the judiciary plays an important role, but with individualized dispensation of justice, the whole point is on following what the law prescribes. In Uganda, mentally ill offenders have protection under the law. One, when you look at the penal code, it presents a defense of insanity. Still, when we look at the penal code, it provides for the defense of intoxication. However, this time around, for the intoxication, it has to be involuntary intoxication. Literally, you cannot go and take drugs and commit an offense, then you are alleged to have been intoxicated and at the time of committing the offense. Yes, even the Magistrates Courts Act provides for the procedure when someone was insane at the time of committing the offense. Similarly, even the Mental Health Act, Cap 308, protects people who are insane at the time they committed the offense. What we need to understand is that at the point of committing the offense, we are most interested in ascertaining whether the offender at the time of committing the offense, was this person in a position to differentiate wrong from right? If they were not, how do we deal with that aspect? That is why someone who was insane at the time of committing the offense will always be exonerated. We need a reform in the way police handles investigation. We've had very many people on remand because of incomplete investigations done by the police. It appears the citizens have lost trust in the law enforcement, but if we give adequate training to the people in the law enforcement on how our investigation should be done, then we can have a good justice system. Having more court of appeals spread over the country, because when you look at the case backlog, yes, most of the cases are on appeal. People are in prison because the courts of appeal are not adequate. They are not proportionate to serve the entire population. Law enforcement plays a crucial role in the administration of criminal justice in Uganda, because everything starts with law enforcement. In Uganda, it is the police that conducts the investigation. So law enforcement plays a big role. It is the police to conduct the arrests, make investigations, and give the prosecutors evidence that they are to deal with in carrying out their prosecution. However, the challenge is that in my opinion, our law enforcement has not done enough. Like I earlier stated, with delays in conducting investigations. Yes, sometimes law enforcement has aided acquittals. In which way? For example, if in Uganda, if an accused is tortured and it is proved by court that the person has been tortured, most of the times those people are always acquitted. So if law enforcement makes adjustments in how they do things, for example, having quick investigations, ensuring that the accused people are always brought to court and under the prescriptions of the law, ensuring that the accused are not tortured, law enforcement will have done the best work.